Okay, most kings and queens wanted to make sure that they had a lot of children, and they made sure those children understood what it meant to be part of the royal family. In this read aloud, you will learn that being a princess or a prince has both advantages, things that are good, and disadvantages, things that are not so great. This picture shows Queen Victoria of England surrounded by 5 of her 9 children. As you can see, children in the royal family got to wear fancy clothing. They lived with their parents in the palace, which gave them plenty of space to run and play. Fine furniture and other beautiful things always surrounded them. For many kings and queens, having children was not just a matter of wanting to raise a family. In fact, children were the key to future prosperity and success in the kingdom. But why were children so important? Once a person became king, he remained king for the rest of his life. The period of time during which he ruled was called a king's reign. And when the king died, the reign ended, and one of the children became the new ruler. When you inherit something, it means that someone else, usually a relative, gives you something that once belonged to them. Often when a person dies, their property, the things they owned, are passed to family members who inherit the things. This is what happens in kingdoms when the ruling king or queen died. Their power, the right to sit on the throne and wear the crown, was passed on to someone else in the family. Someone who inherits something is called an heir. In a kingdom, princes and princesses were heirs to the throne because they were to inherit the throne. The oldest son, the one most likely to heir to the throne, is called the crown prince. If there is no son, the oldest daughter is the crown princess. This painting shows a young crown prince traveling with his mother, the queen. The adults treat him with great respect, even though he is only 5 or 6 years old. Other people hold doors for him and help him down the stairs. He will grow up having people serve him and tell him that he is very important. This is a picture of a palace in a country called Morocco. Inside the big, beautiful palace lives a young boy named Moulay Hassan. He lives with his father, mother, and little sister. His father is the king of Morocco. Moulay turned 6 years old in 2009, and he is the oldest son of the king. So, the crown prince or princess is a very important member of the royal family, and he or she receives special education and extra special care in order to someday rule the kingdom. But what happens to the other princes and princesses, those who are not the oldest and heirs to the throne? Kings and queens often arranged marriages for their children. This meant that the prince and the princesses usually did not get to choose who they going to marry. Their parents decided for them. This was because marriage was used as a way to form a partnership between 2 kingdoms, or a way for 2 kingdoms to rule together as a team. When a prince or princess married someone from another kingdom, like this picture, it was a very important event. All the most important people from the 2 kingdoms were invited because it meant that the kingdoms were going to be friends in the future. There were definitely advantages to being a member of the royal family, especially for those who liked living in palaces and wearing nice clothes. But being a prince or princess wasn't all fun and games, and they didn't always get to do whatever they wanted. Okay, so we learned that sometimes there's good things that happen to the prince and the princesses, but sometimes there's bad things too, or not so great things. These are called advantages and disadvantages. So I'm going to say something, and I want you to tell me if you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage. Being the youngest in the school, what do you think? That could have either advantages or disadvantages. I think that one could be either. How about being the oldest in your family? Do you think that would have advantages or disadvantages? I'm the oldest, and there's good things. The advantages are I have lots of little brothers and sisters. Well, they're not little anymore, but they were my friends growing up, and sometimes I would be in charge and I got to babysit. Disadvantages is sometimes my youngest brother, I feel like he probably has a lot of lucky things happen to him too. So it might be better to be the youngest, or maybe it's better to be the oldest, I'm not sure. Learning how to read, is that an advantage or disadvantage? Advantage, right? Because if we learn how to read, then you can do lots of cool things as you grow up. Riding the school bus. Ooh, what if you lived far away and you rode the school bus? That would be an advantage, right? That'd be good. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you soon.